A sharp, metallic latch clicked into place, plunging the master bedroom into pitch blackness. Standing by the doorway, my husband let out a cold, faint laugh that rattled through the freezing air of our Tribeca penthouse. He calmly shoved my life-saving medication into the bottom of the trash bin, turned off the main power breaker, and locked the heavy front door behind him. For 3 days, a severe autoimmune condition had left me completely bedridden and defenseless. Now, my husband, along with his mother and sister, were heading to JFK International Airport for a 74-day luxury European vacation, leaving me behind in total darkness without food, water, or medicine, fully expecting to return home to a massive inheritance. What my greedy in-laws never realized was that the quiet, submissive woman lying in that bed was not a penniless orphan. Years ago, I had hidden my real identity as the sole heiress to the Sterling family, a massive real estate empire, just to protect my husband's fragile ego. I handed him the title of CEO at my firm and bought us this multi-million-dollar apartment. Yet, as my lungs burned in the freezing air, I realized my humility had nearly cost me my life. Gathering every ounce of strength left in my body, I reached under the heavy mattress and pulled out a hidden prepaid burner phone I had kept for emergencies. With trembling, ice-cold fingers, I dialed the one number I had not called in years, praying my father would answer. The line rang 3 times before my father picked up the phone. The moment he heard my raspy, fading voice explaining that my husband had stolen my devices, changed the lock codes, and left me to die, the line went dead silent. Seconds later, I heard the sound of glass shattering in the background as my mother frantically reached for the phone. My father did not waste time asking unnecessary questions. He barked firm, immediate orders for me to stay on the line, promising that his private security team and medical staff were already on their way. An hour later, the front door was shattered open by power tools, and tactical flashlights illuminated the freezing living room as emergency responders rushed inside. My father, a powerful billionaire who rarely showed emotion, sprinted through the dark hallway with a pale, panic-stricken face. Behind him, my mother threw herself over my shivering body, wrapping me in heavy blankets as paramedics quickly hooked up intravenous fluids and cardiac monitors. The lead physician immediately diagnosed me with acute hypothermia and severe shock from missed medication, ordering an instant transport to a private VIP facility on the Upper East Side. As they carried me out on a stretcher, my father stood in the middle of the ruined apartment, his eyes burning with absolute wrath. He ordered his executive team to preserve every inch of the crime scene, extract all security footage, and prepare a legal strike that would completely destroy my husband's life. Over the next few weeks, state-of-the-art medical care restored my health, while my father's legal team quietly executed our retaliation. While I was recovering in a high-tech hospital suite, my husband and his family were casually spending thousands of dollars across Paris, Rome, and the Amalfi Coast, completely oblivious to what was happening back home. My sister-in-law posted constant updates on social media, showing off designer handbags and expensive dinners funded by my accounts. My mother-in-law even went live on social media, flippantly telling relatives that my illness was incurable and that they would handle my funeral arrangements whenever they eventually returned to the United States. They genuinely believed I was dead, completely unaware that every single dollar they spent was being tracked and documented for court. Behind the scenes, my father's attorneys stripped my husband of his position as CEO, froze every corporate account, and filed emergency fraud and attempted murder charges against him. The penthouse was repossessed, the credit cards were cancelled, and every asset tied to my family's firm was completely locked down. On the 74th day of their lavish trip, my husband, mother-in-law, and sister-in-law finally landed back in New York City. Exhausted from their flights and rolling dozens of designer suitcases, they stepped out of the airport terminal expecting a private chauffeur to take them back to our luxury home. Instead, their credit cards were declined at every transaction, leaving them stranded in the middle of a freezing winter night with nowhere to go. Desperate and confused, they managed to scrape together enough cash to take a local cab to the Tribeca building. When they finally reached the penthouse floor, my husband typed his usual code into the electronic lock, but the keypad flashed red and buzzed violently. Seconds later, the heavy door swung open from the inside, revealing 2 stern court bailiffs and a team of private security guards. Stepping out from behind them, I walked forward fully restored, healthy, and surrounded by my family's legal counsel. My husband froze in absolute terror, his face draining of color as he stared at me as if he were looking at a ghost. His mother gasped loudly, dropping her expensive shopping bags onto the hard floor. Before any of them could speak, my lead attorney stepped forward and served them with a stack of legal documents, including arrest warrants, restraining orders, and an immediate eviction notice from all properties. The police officers waiting in the lobby escorted them straight out of the building into the biting winter cold, informing them that all their personal bank accounts were officially frozen pending criminal investigation. Standing on the frozen pavement outside, without money, shelter, or access to my firm, my husband broke down and began begging for mercy. But as I looked down at them from the warm, brightly lit window of my penthouse, I felt no pity, only a deep sense of justice for the betrayal I had survived.